Welcome back to the Scale Forward podcast. Today, I've got Mohan, the founder and CEO of Thinkrr. Thinkrr is an AI voice platform that lets you launch your very own voice AI SaaS agency. Think of it as Shopify for voice AI. Mohan, it's awesome to have you here.
It's awesome to be here, Russell.
Can you just introduce yourself, what you do, what Thinkrr is, and then how you came up with the idea?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. So my name is Mohan, CEO and co-founder of Thinkrr.ai. The journey started about a year and a half ago, and we've been on a ride ever since. Launched our MVP just over 14 months ago, and we've gone from like zero, completely bootstrapped, to about 162K MRR. So it's been a fast trajectory. Things are just moving really, really quick, and this is the world of AI. What we do is we build voice AI solutions for businesses. So think of your outbound and inbound calling and your web presence with voice AI. We solve that problem, whether that's an inbound receptionist, and we'll talk through different roles if you like, and outbound campaigns, follow-ups, scheduling meetings, but then we get very niche down into very specific use cases as well. And all of that can be brought onto your web as well. And then we realized as we were doing that a lot of our clients are actually people who wanted to take our platform, white label it, and sell it for themselves. And that was cool. So we said, why not? And we've actually pivoted to solving that area because there's a big gap in market opportunity where we're building tools to allow people to quickly launch their own voice AI business using our platform. And hence the tagline, the Shopify of voice AI. We're making it as easy as it is to stand up an e-commerce website and set up your own store, to set up a voice AI business.
I mean, awesome. Fantastic. What a rise, first of all, in MRR. That's crazy. Is your background in SaaS? Is it in AI? Is it in voice? Is that how you came up with the idea originally?
Yeah, my background is in technology. I've been 25 years in technology, leading large digital product builds, both in like every industry you can think of. A lot of it in telephony. So no surprise that I'm in the voice AI business. I've been in this space for a while. And it really occurred to me in my most recent role before I started Thinkrr as a managing partner for a large consultancy firm that, when I was in the boardrooms of a lot of these Fortune 1000 companies, that they really did not understand what and where to go with AI. Everybody it was on the, kind of like the launch of ChatGPT, and it was a big kind of like, what is generative AI? How do we use this? We need a plan. We need a response. And I quickly realized that there wasn't a response. People were guessing, and therefore budgets were actually slim for AI because they were very cautious where to invest and what to do. And everybody saw that this was moving super, super fast, and nobody wanted to be kind of left hanging dry because they had overinvested too fast. So this was like my kind of like cue for like, this is the time where AI is coming. It's a shift. This is not, a trend, a fad that's going to fade away. This is actually like a shift in how we are going to work as society. And in fact, each and every day that I work in this space, I realize that is becoming more and more like an absolute truism. There's nothing that can take you away from that kind of realm. So the idea that came to me really in my kind of own experiences, realizing that the most natural way to communicate is through your voice. I can tell you a story, but it's kind of like been told before, so I'll kind of skip it. But it really came down to realizing everything we want to do and interact with, we're going to do that through our voice. And I wanted to be in that space. And then that's where I started to create my own prototype, built something that I tested, did all the good stuff with product market fit, right? Making sure that we had that, did a quick, rapid prototype, built out a very, very lean kind of solution. And then started to, once I got positive responses, and I actually work a lot with people in business, right? So I worked with a financial advisor and I worked with a real estate agent right out of the gate and proved out the use cases, proved that there was actually something that was needed. And then from there, moved forward with actually launching, with now my co-founder, building a actual SaaS product. Now, my background in SaaS I've done a lot of SaaS products, but this has been by far one of the most thrilling SaaS products I've ever created.
I bet. I mean, the ramp up is crazy.
Yes, it
So
is.
we'll unpack sort of the product market fit go to market strategy in
Sure.
just a second. I just want to sort of set the scene a little bit more. Was it surprising to you, the growth of this? I mean, I'm going to guess perhaps not, because you kind of saw that.
I think the funny thing about growth and you kind of responding to what you're seeing, right? So you're kind of looking, you're testing the markets. And really, if you're somebody who knows how to do calculations, I'm very good at forecasting, looking at what is possible. You start to become realistic, but you have to find the audience. Right. And I think where things became really clear to us was last year in autumn, around this time, actually, we really saw a market that was right in front of us through two other partners that we now are. So we're four partners now, and it was in the go high level market.
Right.
And that really became, like one of the things that people have to realize when you're doing a business is that sometimes you go looking for a market and sometimes the market's sitting right in front of you. And the two partners that we partnered with, so Reza and myself partnered with Rahul and Cody, and we became this team and we saw this audience that was right in front of us in the agency space. And we started to realize that they needed this for their own business. And then, of course, it became a natural kind of recipient that said, can we also sell this now that we
Yeah.
see this? And that's where it kind of all evolved
Classic.
from. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Classic scratching your own itch. Let's just launch this and see what
It's,
happens.
it's scratching your own itch. It's learning from people and not trying to, like, it's all true what people say. Like, you want to start a business? Start with the people you know.
Yep.
Work with them as your audience. If people say friends, family, that's not a good place to start. Well, that's how Thinkrr got born. We got born with friends and family, and then we moved from there to our own audiences. And then from our own audiences, we started to reach out to more and more people. And really, the brand is now just starting to become much, much more to resonate with a larger unknown circle and network that we didn't have before. And I can talk about some of our strategies around that.
You mentioned everything is going voice, and this is like completely side topic. Did you see Agent Builder launched by OpenAI?
It's gone live. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. I don't know about you. If you've played around with it, I'm finding myself just wanting to be able to just talk to it and have it build the agents and automations that I say, rather than still click and drag and drop. So I'm sure not in the too distant future we'll be able to just push a button, speak, and it will build out automations. But that's a
One of
side
I'm
topic.
glad I'm glad no I'm glad you brought that up. So one of the features that we launched was we called it Copilot for lack of originality.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's been a really really popular feature since we launched it, and it allows you to it kind of greets you when you come into it to build your new voice agent, and it walks you through and asks you questions, and basically at the end of the experience, you have built your entire voice agent for you.
Yep. There you go. Okay, Mohan, let's if you can remember back to the beginning.
Yeah,
Not
I
so much
can.
the idea and the inflection point and all this sort of stuff. You've got your partners, you've tested it. What was the strategy to go out and acquire all of these customers, and what was the best channel that worked for you?
Yeah, I mean, so there's like two different kind of points in time. One was in, I guess, the summer, so around June, early July of 2024, where I worked with one of our clients who was in the financial advisor world, one of the first early people that I worked with, and with them, used their platform, their audience to speak to a group of financial advisors. So it was an in-person event that I went to, and we basically did like literally email campaigns. We put up posters everywhere we could, and we did some personal invites. Got on the phone, called a few people out. Actually, used AI to do that too, and we filled a room of 60 to 70 people. And from there, we got about 10 to 15 people who agreed to try the platform, of which actually 10 of them still are on the platform today, which
They
is
do
pretty
say your
crazy.
first customers will be with you forever.
Right? Of course, we gave them a darling deal, right? So they know that they've got a good deal going on. But it was for us, like, this was a way for us to test, and we worked really closely with them and
Yep.
got a lot of feedback. And then I think the second, after learning that, we said events are really the best way, it's like a one to many kind of audience is the best way to do it. So we did an online virtual event, which we marketed, and we had a kind of a database of over I think 2,000 people that we wanted to reach out to. It wasn't a massive one, but it wasn't small either. Marketing agencies that we reached out to. I think okay, this is really cool. So we did this. We invited them in, and then I used our own technology. We used something called the event confirmation, which is a template that we have that's pre-built for people that they can use out of the box with our solution. We set that up, built that in literally like, I think it was like a thought that came to me like 30 minutes before the event was supposed to go, not 30 minutes, but 30 minutes before we could have possibly made those calls, right? So we wanted to do it at least 2 hours before. So 30 minutes before, I was like, we should just do this. So we ran it, got it launched 2 hours before the event, and called all the people. We had a 70% show rate.
Nice.
Normally, it's like around 25 to 30% is considered pretty decent. We had a 70%. So we ended up having close to 190 people on, which was like mind-boggling. AI voice worked within the Go High Level community. We had a very good niche, good target audience that we were speaking to, and our solution resonated with them. And it was high ticket. We didn't go, we knew we weren't going to get a ton of customers, but we knew we had to get customers that were going to pay for a high ticket item. So we went high ticket to start with.
Yeah, it's easier to start high and come down than start low and go up.
Well, if they don't buy, then you've priced it wrongly.
Yeah. But then you run those massive promos and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so there's a bit of a strategy there.
Yes, there
high
is.
ticket, I find actually works really, really well, but you have to have a particular unique use case, which yours is. So okay, so that's a crazy uptake, 70%. That's really good. And I mean, building something last minute, don't recommend unless you really know what you're doing.
I think it speaks to also like, it was actually something we used as a case study on our website where we spoke to the ease of use of the platform, right? And I think that that's really why, I brought that up, is because we did it so quickly, because that's the power of the Thinkrr platform, is that once you know how to use the platform as a business person, not as a technical developer personality, but the archetype of somebody who's a typical business user, can go and build this. And like that's what we honed in on day one. And we continue to build for that personality type, right? That is the persona that we're building for.
Okay. And so fast forward to now, I mean, I'm sure you're across all channels. What's working best for you in terms of bringing in leads right now?
Well, we have different avenues. I'm going to talk about a couple of them. One is definitely, we do paid ad, right? So we do that. A lot of them are on Facebook, and we're targeting our right audience there. We still run a lot of webinars to get people on. And then we've done a really good job on SEO, right? And then the fourth way that's really taking off is affiliate marketing.
Right. Okay. Let's go through. We can skip through the ads because not everybody has the budget, but a lot of people listening to this are new founders. They might not have the ad budget. So let's put ads aside. Let's go down the other three. What's the process to get people to show up to your webinar?
So we will create some organic ads. We do a lot of organic ads, of course. So when I say these are not paid, right? So, and the other thing that's really good is we use a method called the perfect stranger method. So the perfect stranger method is where we are constantly connecting with people on social media platforms, be it Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are, adding them to your network, and then just sharing with them what you're doing, right? That's how we build the right audience. And then when we post something that's relevant to this audience, they tend to show up, right? So that's been very good. And we've done that. We've also created our own kind of community. We have over 7,000 people on this community now. It's kind of grown over time, and we can tap into that market. So anytime we're doing something, we post there, and then there's that network effect. They let people know there's another opportunity. This is a good time to get in. There's a promo running or whatnot, right?
Where's the community? Is it
we're
your own
using
internally?
We're using actually Go High Level's community product.
Okay.
Yeah. We debated whether we wanted to use Facebook. We decided to go with
fair.
Slack. Yeah.
And they're all on your email list as well, I imagine.
So yeah, we've got a large email list now. Over time, we built that out. It wasn't so big in the beginning, but yes, we have a good sized database. Also, it's really good to use other people's database, right? So don't be afraid. Like if you're starting off, don't be afraid to ask other people if you can launch a co-brand with them. And that's something that I find worked very well for us in the beginning. So we were fortunate enough to have people that were willing to share their database. And if anybody came from their database, they basically became an affiliate.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the
So
offer, was it? Just an affiliate, and
for
that's good
getting
enough.
access, yeah, getting database was good enough, right? Because they loved our, the fact that it was reoccurring. So basically, once it became our client and we had a SaaS model, or we have a SaaS model, um, it makes absolute sense for them to, as long
Yeah.
as they believe in the product, and they did believe in the product, to recommend it and let people in their own database know about what we're doing.
Right. And then the final one you said is working, if not the best for you right now, is partnerships.
Affiliates again is the
Affiliates.
play.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's affiliates, but it's different now. What we started off with in the beginning, what I talked about, was like a few people that we knew, right?
Yeah.
But now we've actually built and designed what we call our super affiliate program. So we have now identified who has the right audience. They have to have the right size of audience, and we will offer them an unbelievable deal. We basically have built a package where we will work with them and their audience, help them launch their own boot camp where they can invite their own people. We will run the boot camp for them, and they get 40% reoccurring on our product, right? So
Okay.
it's like this really amazing deal that they get. And for us, it's a win-win too. They don't have to do anything other than show up and invite the people to the audience. And of course, believe in the product, speak to it with
Yeah.
confidence. We even give them a free unlimited account, which allows them to start using it themselves. So they
Okay.
become like their own, what do you call it? They are attesting to the product because they use it themselves.
Well, the biggest question that everybody and myself is thinking, oh, what's the minimum requirement? What size of audience do I need?
Yeah, I mean, it's right now we're looking at about 5,000 followers on one of your social media
Okay.
channels. So minimum requirement, especially on YouTube. If you got 5,000, that's a massive audience for us that we would like to tap into. But we are now getting into the, it's like one of those things like move fast, guys. If you want to work with us, come now, because as you can imagine, the word's getting out there and people with larger audiences are coming to us
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And again, we are never going to say no, but it just becomes priority, and there's only so much bandwidth, right? So we'll prioritize it based on who has the largest audience. Is basically how
Are
it'll
you
be.
not looking at engagement across that? 'Cause, I mean, not so much on
Absolutely.
YouTube. You can just buy
Yeah. So
followers, right? But
there's a scale. So I think
okay.
we got A, B, and C, and there's a grading that the team
Cool.
uses. They've put a tremendous amount of time into
I can
designing
imagine.
this
Yeah.
program. Yeah, and we actually are working with a consultant who helped to
Okay.
put that program together with us, train the team up to do this really, really well. Something that, again, when you're gonna do something, I don't believe in doing it kind of half-ass. You gotta do it the right way. You gotta
How you
build it
do
out,
one thing is how you do everything. Yeah.
right? So we said we're gonna do it right. So we're doing it right.
If you had to pick one channel and out of all of them that you like the best or that you think would continue to work through 2026, I know it's hard to say, but you said you're good at forecasting. What channel would you say would be the best for you for the next
Are you
12 months?
talking like social channels? Are you talking about distribution channels? Like there's so many
Any
ways to answer
acquisition
the question.
channel
I
to
mean,
generate lead gen.
so I'm gonna say in the world of AI, you want to use organic. I think people don't rely on organic enough. And if you're gonna look at organic and you're gonna try to like target a specific platform, then I'm gonna say you're gonna go with YouTube, right?
Yep.
And I think one of the things that people don't do enough of is they don't test their ideas enough, right? So it's really important. Like you've got this amazing vehicle now with AI and generative AI to build at scale a lot of content and test your ideas. See what's working, create variations, tweak and run that. And none of that's more true than on YouTube. For some reason, people are not creating a lot of content on YouTube or even doing what they need to be doing on that to the extent that they can. This platform that's waiting its gold out there. And I believe that that's where, just given the way the nature of the content is evergreen, is always there. And if it's something that's highly valuable, people will find it and it grows and grows and grows. So that's my answer to you. It's like I would focus
Yeah.
on organic and I'd focus on YouTube. I think it also depends on your product. And we were talking a little bit about this before. Like LinkedIn's a good platform for myself as well, but depends on the audience type, right? So if you're going
Yeah.
after a real enterprise grade client, then I think LinkedIn is phenomenal.
Yeah, the I agree completely. The power of YouTube is insane. The inbuilt SEO, like the way it recommends, it's an unfair advantage, to be honest. Lastly on this, and really quick, SEO you mentioned is doing really well for you. Are
Yeah.
you or the team, have you guys cracked the code on a definitive answer on how to rank on an LLM yet, or are you still in testing a bunch of
No,
stuff?
I think that's the gold mine. So what's
Yeah.
interesting, we had one client that just, I think 2 weeks ago, came to us. It wasn't even 2 weeks. I think it was last week. And time kind of starts merging together, and they said to me, "You know how we found you guys? I put into ChatGPT, tell me the top 5 voice AI companies, and
Yeah.
we showed up there. So we're doing something right.
But you have
I
no
don't know.
idea how.
I don't know what we did. I mean,
Yep.
look, it's again about, so there's a number of things that I've learned, and I can share this because like people think creating content, right, is good, but creating this content with LLMs, there are detection tools out there that know if it's been generated by AI, right? So you kind of, yes, you can generate a lot of blogs and a lot of, because that's ultimately what you know that the LLMs are going to kind of look for is the written word, right? Because that's what they can scan, that's what they can use. Perplexity is a good example of that. They actually do a good job of looking at transcripts of YouTube videos and pulling that in and doing those algorithms. But my kind of thing is, I'm always trying to be 2 steps ahead. So I'm always trying to figure out how to use AI to help me and to bypass these systems, which are checking to see if it's, AI generated content or not. And, this is a game of cat and mouse, but ultimately I think it's one that is important. Here's my biggest thing I will say: document, document, document. Document what you're doing, document what you're building, document your conversations. If you are somebody who worries about privacy, you're going to have a hard time keeping an edge up, because right now, the person who's producing original content is the person that's going to win, because ultimately AI generated content will not be ranked as high. We know that. Right. So on the written side, I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Or even like creating like these faceless videos on YouTube. You saw what YouTube did. They just took that all down. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was just in China at an SEO conference there, some of the top leaders in SEO, and the consensus to rank on something like ChatGPT was basically have all the usual stuff that we've all been trying to achieve for the last 10 years, technical correct, on page correct. You can create content with AI, humanize it. I won't break that down, but just add a human element to it. But
Yeah.
also, a lot of focus is going to Reddit because of Google's preference to rank,
You,
the whole thing around that. If you don't know, Google's gone through a phase where they're basically in bed with Reddit and they're making it rank number one for everything, and then YouTube. So I think you're right, Mohan. It's like you need to be, if you're taking it seriously, you need to create original content. You potentially should consider being the face of your SaaS, YouTube videos, and then be on Reddit. And I think you do all the basics after that, correct? You should show up on LLMs. Nobody's cracked the code on a definitive answer on how to rank on an LLM, by the way.
UGC is always really important, right? So
True.
Reddit and platforms like that are super great because they force conversation. So I worked at in media companies for a long time, and one of the most powerful features that you can add to any kind of content is commenting. Why? Because it's UGC, right?
Yeah.
So if you do have a website, you create blogs, and you're not allowing people to put comments on there, I would seriously consider otherwise, because UGC is going to drive a lot more traffic to your website.
Yeah. All right. We've covered sort of your acquisition.
Yep.
Let's talk about scaling. I mean, you're at a really good MRR, AR right now.
hmm
Do you have any plans to raise? What's the ideas behind if you are on or don't plan to?
So, I mean, let's kind of backtrack a little bit, because like when you're in the startup world, it's not just about your MMR and traction, and those play into your kind of your equation as to when's a good time to raise, when you're going to be taken seriously, right? But you have to also look back at why you want to raise. Right? What is the thing you're trying to achieve? And for us, we, came to this point in time to the realization that now is our time to raise. And the reason for that is because we have a strategy. We have a vision of what we're trying to build. So we talked about the Shopify voice AI, but let's backtrack one step. Our vision is that every business within the next 2 to 4 years is going to use voice AI for calling. It's every business is going to do it. That's our vision. We believe in that, and that's the driving kind of motivation behind market penetration and capturing the market. So that's led us to a couple of different strategies. One, we know that to be differentiated, we need to solve problems for very specific verticals and niches. So we just launched, for the short-term rental space. Think of Airbnb or Vibro or one of these sites, or booking.com or Expedia, right? We've partnered with one of the largest property management software platforms out there called Hostaway, and we're in their marketplace now. We just launched about 2 weeks ago, and we've built a bespoke automated solution that connects to that platform, and we are the first voice AI concierge that you can do. But before you read your booking time, know when your guests are going to arrive at the location, and it will call them and welcome them. Then it will tell them, any question you got, you can call us back on this number. You want to figure out how to use the microwave. You want to figure out how to, where the garbage goes, or you're got a problem with the plumbing and the toilet's not working. You call me. And all of that information is like they've stored that already because they have taken the time already to invest it. So we just take that data and we use that inside of our agents that we built for them. And we build this amazing platform with great voice AI that now solves a real problem. Right?
Let me jump in. Is that, because I'm picturing this, is that in any language?
Of course.
Yeah, because that's where I see the biggest.
We have over 15 languages that we support.
Yep.
And by the way, there's a couple of different steps here. One is having a multitude of languages, so multilingual. We have over 15 languages. And then, which is, of course, an extremely popular request, is bilingual, right? So now we're launching Spanish and English agents and French and English agents, and soon we'll be launching other agents that can speak multiple languages as well. So this is part of that ecosystem, right? So every time we launch within a vertical, we build certain capabilities that the vertical demands, but then become available for every vertical that we're working on. So short-term rental being just one of them. Another very, very exciting one that we're working on right now, that is, we're working with 4 independent pharmacies in the US on 2 different platforms with deep integration to fulfill prescription refill. Right. So you're able to refill your prescriptions, and the market for that is huge. So we have already about 15 other pharmacies that are ready to get started on that. That's a high ticket item, right? And now, remember what I told you about us being a platform that you can resell?
Yes.
We're going to be making that available for anybody who wants to start reselling to another pharmacy, to be able to take what we've already built, and as long as they're connected to the same system, be able to have that market opportunity as well.
Which solves all the need for me to try and figure out compliance and all that sort of
We take care of it, right? Because we've done that. We've taken care of that. We're HIPAA compliant. We're SOC 2 compliant. All of that jazz is taken care of for you.
Which, by the way, is incredibly difficult to do on your own.
It's a big endeavor.
Pain in the ass.
Well, and because you constantly it's not a one and done thing. You're constantly So there's 2 types of SOC compliances. I don't know if you know SOC 2, but there's SOC 2 type 1 and there's SOC 2 type 2. Type 2 requires that you have to consistently, regularly provide proof and data that you're compliant and you're upholding the best, what they call operating procedures around PII data, HIPAA compliant data, health data. All of that is really, really critical. So our strategy became very clear, right? We're building in verticals. We want to be in 100 different verticals this time next year. Okay. So we're going there. And then we came out with the penetration strategy. So the penetration strategy is we're launching a freemium model, which means that we're going to give everybody who wants to try and use it free plan that they can use. They'll get 1 agent. They'll get 60 minutes with this agent that they can use, and it refreshes every month. So it's a monthly refilling. And you can actually build your own agent, use all the features of the platform, and you're kind of not paying a cent out of your life. So it's like the Zoom effect, right? It's like you want to use Zoom, you've got 30 minutes of it, go use it. The same thing with us, right? So we're giving away
all the features unlocked. You're not gatekeeping features either in the freemium?
No, I think freemium is always like technically, and this is a really good conversation. You need to make decisions, right? So you have to always think of it in a subscription world as like you want people to go from one tier to the next tier to the next tier, right? So you want to be able to solve enough problems that you're adding a lot of value on your freemium tier. We believe we are, right? All of our templates that we have created are all available for people. All of the power of using our capabilities, like using the Copilot that I talked about before, everything is there. All of the analytics, everything that we've
Awesome.
got, and the recording and the call history. But then, the next tier is, well, what if I want unlimited agents,
Yeah.
right? And you have to design these things, right? They're not like you don't come up with these in one day. Think about what adds value. Why would people want to actually upgrade and start paying you, right? And what business problem are you solving for them? Where's the ROI for them that they would do that? Well, for us, it was like they want more agents. And then we added more features that they want more customers. Remember, our clients are also people who have their own customers. So that's how we started to like design these various tiers and plans that people can, as they need, upgrade to, right? And we fulfill enough problems that we're adding value on each one of our tiers.
Yeah, makes sense. You got to
It's a
architect it
science.
in a way that, yeah, exactly. You got to, and it might take a couple of goes if this is your first trip around running a SaaS, but trial and error on that one. So all of that
Mhm.
still brings me back to my question to how do you think about, I know you were setting the scene there.
I was
Think
setting the
about,
scene. Yeah.
yeah, think about the raise. Like for everybody, it's going to be different in terms of when some people might need money earlier or later, whatever it is, I'll let you answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I've
bring us
learned a lot
towards where
about,
you're at.
yeah, I've learned a lot about this, right? Because I kept on asking questions: should I raise? Should I not raise?
Right.
And I've come to the conclusion that now is the time to raise for us. So we're raising 2 million right now at a 22 million valuation, right? And that's pre, and this is a pre-seed extension. So we're not doing a Series A yet. That'll be the next step. And we believe that with that, we can accomplish very specific growth in fulfilling the strategy we have: market penetration by verticals and great retention strategies, because that's part of what we're doing. And then we're adding a whole bunch of data mode kind of locking in features that are all about adding value that you can't get anywhere else, right? So how do we build we call it thinker intelligence. How do we build thinker intelligence so that you get more value from your own data that we have on you or with you?
Yeah, and to circle back to that, the reason you're so confident in the raise is because of everything you just spoke about. That the foundation's already there, clear roadmap, clear plan. It should be a no-brainer for an investor, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to think about it from an investor perspective, right? So the one thing also I'll say, being Canadian, Canadian investors are more conservative, right? So they'll grill you almost like you're raising for a Series A when you're not, versus, if you talk to your American counterparts or even international counterparts, sometimes you will find that they understand the opportunity, they understand that you're a startup. And I think the mental model that I have is like, you don't leave any door unknocked. You knock on
Yep.
every door. You think of everybody that you could think of. You never know where that connection is going to come from. And, what I'm learning is the more stranger the people you talk to, more likely is that they're going to help you fulfill that that round.
Yep. That's fair play. Okay, we're going to move to a lightning round shortly and wrap this
Okay.
up. But we spoke about all the solutions that you found, all the acquisitions and everything. A lot of things that people don't like to talk about is the struggle. So
Yep.
what's something that the team or yourself is struggling with right now? And it could be development, it could be product, it could be growth or
Mm.
marketing. And then after you've told us what's the biggest bottleneck or struggle right now, how do you have a plan on how you think you'll attack that?
So if I'll backtrack a little bit, actually, come May last year, we ran into a really big problem. In that we were getting a lot of customer complaints. A lot of people were looking to use our system, but the complexity of, even though we have built for business users, a lot of them still struggle to get started. We found that getting ramped up, getting started was a problem. So the complaints started coming in because they're like, how do we get started? We don't know where to go, right? So onboarding and nailing your onboarding is really, really important. So what we did is we just redesigned all of our courses. We used AI to do that, built a brand new library of courses. This is funny, we put in place in the AI world for an AI company, real human office hours where you can talk to humans, our support team, who are available every day, 5 days a week for an hour. We call them office hours. And people come in there, they ask quick questions, get a little bit of support, they feel super helped. And then the third release valve that we built was we built our own support agent. So you can actually talk to our support agent that can answer questions and try to solve your problems for you as well. And that's available 24 hours, 7 days a week. And then the last valve is we run a webinar every Thursday, which we help people onboard. We help them learn about the new features, and we talk to them about selling strategies and how to be an agency and how to run your first agency. Because a lot of people that come to us are actually people who are just getting started.
Yeah, similar to Go High Level back in the day. They were doing something similar, right? Like they were running
Yeah,
webinars
we've
every week.
we've definitely look, when you look at companies that have done well. I mean, Go High Level has done very well.
Oh
They've
yeah.
built an amazing ecosystem, right? So why not,
Why not model it?
steal from their playbook, right? Like, I mean, I have no shame in admitting that we
Yeah.
have looked and learned a lot from watching what they've done. Saying that, we're not anymore just a Go High Level company. We have untethered instances of our product. We have a very aggressive model to build connections with platforms like Jobber, Service Titan, HubSpot, Salesforce. These are all deep integrations coming with our platform.
Right. Okay. So you got that early feedback that onboarding needed to be looked at, and then, like you said, you don't like to half-ass it. You just nipped it in the butt, brought in real people,
I mean, it
and
was
to solve
crazy.
that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, we
Yeah.
had to design so many release valves within a period of 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It
you made
was
it sound super
really,
easy, but
no, it
that's by
wasn't. It
no
was
means any
really,
small
really,
feat.
and then, like, when we designed those office hours, I mean, I personally was in those office hours for the first 2 to 3 weeks, almost every day. Understanding where the team need to be
Yep.
trained, where type of questions we're getting, how could we optimize it. You want to make sure, and this is, I think, got really lucky. We've got some great people on our team, really committed, passionate people, and you can't build an empire without having a great team. So I think I give a lot of credit to the people that we have on there. They're the backbones of what we're doing.
Shout out to the team. I can't underestimate how important it is to have a committed, fantastic team behind you. But also yourself, Mohan, being a founder that's willing to get in the trenches, I think is underrated. A lot of people just want to do the glorified stuff as being the CEO, but I think it shows to your character and willingness to be able to get in there. Any other any other headaches that you're going through right now? I'm sure
I
there's
mean,
a ton, but
the things that I'm kind of saying, if I look into my crystal ball and I were to think about things that are important, is I kind of alluded to it, is hiring good people, right? Hiring is hard.
yeah,
So, as we look into the future and we're talking about um, growing, we'll need to bring on the right people, right? You don't want to tamper with what you have. You want to make sure that you keep that intact, and having really strong understanding of what are your core values, what kind of people are you looking for. We practice radical candor all the time, right? It's part of our culture. We practice curiosity, and we look for people who take extreme ownership. These are principles that are very, very dear and important, and hiring for those people is really, really hard, right? So that is part of like how we think about, how do we evaluate if this person's going to come in and actually help us or hinder us. Looking forward to like raising money, yes. Hiring is something you have to really get right and tweak.
what's the key hire you're looking for after the raise or even now?
There's a number of different roles that we need to grow in so many different areas with and after the raise. First and foremost will be, that go to market engine, right?
Oh
We
yeah.
really want to spend, yeah, absolutely. We want to penetrate and get the word out there. And just what I told you, hiring unique talent that understands how to use generative AI to grow and have that model of understanding how to test what you're doing, is going to be really important, finding that right person to do that. Then, of course, naturally, there's engineering talent, data scientists that we want to hire. And then, of course, on the customer success side, I can't stress how important that is. But I come from the world where I believe in strong leadership. So the most pivotal role for us is actually, and this is for anybody who's in the startup world, is going to be working with a very strong financial person. Your fractional CFO or your de facto CFO, whoever that may be. Really, really pivotal role. You want somebody who's going to make sure that you're running a business. And running a business means knowing how to manage the balance sheet.
By the way, it's probably the least sexiest role and doesn't get enough
It
credit.
is, but it's the most important thing, right? So if I were to tell everybody, like I met this guy, and I don't know if I'm taking up more time, but what the hell? There's a guy that I met he's exited a $5 billion company.
With a B?
B, with a B.
Okay. Not bad.
I had a 45-minute sit down with this gentleman, and I asked him, like, I was telling him what I was doing and where I'm going, and he, within about 2 minutes, honed in on the fact that I didn't have a CFO or even a fractional CFO. And the rest of the conversation was just around why and what and how that's going to be the game changer for me. So all the other things I did, all the great numbers I just shared with you, they became, by the wayside. And he shared stories to me about how, he had a CEO who decided to overspend and didn't watch margins and didn't do things efficiently. And he was on the board, and he, it was his company, and he decided to fire him and replace him with himself. Why? Because efficiency was the most important thing. And then he cut back the company by 40% to become more efficient. And I said, how did you come to that decision? How did you come to that number? He goes, that's where your CFO plays a big, big part. and again, like, these are things you don't think about when you're, just getting started.
Yeah. Or scale scale at all costs, they say, but.
Well, I mean, and to a fault, we're doing that. We're investing a lot of money back into the company, and that's our priority because we believe this is the time to invest. It's a very hard balance to do, but you're learning by trial and error. And I tell you, the one thing that I will do as soon as we raise money is have somebody in place who's going to be taking that headache away from me.
You hear the relief when that happens. Okay.
It's magic. It's magic. I tell you that.
It's solid advice. If someone with 5B exits, you probably want to listen to that. Let's move to Mohan before we wrap this up, a lightning round. So what we do here is I just asked you some very straightforward questions. Just answer it with the first thing that comes to your mind and as quickly as possible. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Cool. What's the favorite AI tool or feature in your AI tool stack right now?
I'll probably still ChatGPT. I love it.
Yep. It's goated at the minute. What's the most underrated use case for voice AI that people aren't using it for right now?
Appointment reminder. Absolutely. It's the most underrated, but the most absolute game-changing thing. 100% short rate. Did a whole video with customers on it.
Okay. And do you have a bold prediction for 2026 in voice AI?
I do. I think it's all about being very use case specific, and I think it's going to be about agents to agents talking to each other and the orchestration around that.
Alrighty, that's thought-provoking, but we won't dive in there just yet. For 2026, what do you think will be the best acquisition channels for AI-first companies?
I think you have to look, if you're in a software company like we are, you have to set a very strong KPI. The first thing that came to mind is 90% of all of your development should be done by AI.
Interesting. Very interesting. And I think it will be.
I think it will be too.
Yes.
Okay. And if you're not, do something wrong.
I think that's a fantastic insight to end the show on. It's been awesome hearing your insights. Love what you guys are doing over at Thinkrr. For those who would like to learn more about it or connect with yourself, what's the best way to do so?
The best way to connect with me is either go to the website Thinkrr.ai or go to LinkedIn and look me up. My handle is Mogulati, Mo Gulati, and I'd be happy to connect with anybody here who wants to.
It's been a pleasure having you on. Really appreciate all the insights, and all the links and everything will be in the description below. Thanks for jumping on, Mohan.
Thank you.